Hello, everyone. Oh, where am I? Oh, no more problems. Boing. Just kidding. Oh boy, someone got a green screen. So you know what? We're taking this up a notch, baby. We're taking this up a notch. So that was fun. This is the first time I've used the new fancy YouTube live stream dashboard, and I did a test the other night just to make sure, and everything went perfect, no problems at all. Guess what? This time I send my live stream from my computer up to YouTube, and I can see it. It's there, and I'm like, oh great. And then I go check my laptop, you know, because you gotta be monitoring. Nothing. Commence 3 minutes of panicked scrambling. Turns out there's a new button up in the corner that says actually go live. That's new. Okay, great. Look, thanks for coming. Yes, I have a new green screen. Why not? I just got off a call with some executives from my company in which I was presenting, and I thought, oh, well, I'm gonna have a live stream directly after this meeting. I'll go ahead and do the green screen on the Zoom call. You know what? It'll be cool. Well, you know, in this software, I can zoom, I can crop, and only, because you can't, right? I'm only showing a little box here. In Zoom, it gives you the whole thing, and I have a really wide angle lens. So you see me, a space field just behind me, and then around the edges, you just see my bedroom. So that was cool. We had good fun with that, but you know what? I owned it. We went for it. It was fun. What are we doing? Trying to get my heart to calm down. So, I'm basically right now on the point in San Francisco where I have to decide between sweating to death or smoke inhalation. We don't have air conditioners in this part of the country. Open the window, that's the air conditioner. And honestly, here it works pretty well. There's only a few days a year that even that doesn't really get the job done. But I do that now, and then I just smell wildfires. Maybe you've seen the news. It's not great. Very scary. And the sky, when you wake up and you look at the sky, it's like, I don't know, end of the world apocalypse, red skies, the sun looks really angry. So, you know, hey, I hope that we can get some things figured out on that, and then fire stopped. And I believe a lot of them started due to a lightning storm that came through the Bay Area. Now, I'm from Mississippi. I'm used to thunderstorms and angry rain, just loud, wake you up, shake the house thunder, and rain just beating down on you, trying to beat you into the earth. Here, rain is more apologetic. It's like, sorry, I'm so sorry that I don't mean to get you wet, just a little sprinkle here and there, but it happens, more often. But there's never thunder, there's never lightning. And so I wake up at 4 a.m. and I see flashes of lightning, going across the window through, the window into the bedroom. Heard a little rumbling. It's like, wow. And then now we have, yes, we're all getting 2020 in Hansong. I mean, oh, good grief. It's like, what's the only thing that hasn't seemed to come to fruition yet, but don't mark it off the list, is murder hornets. I'm sure it's going to be a thing anytime real soon. So that's what's going on. I am looking for a new apartment. I've decided the space is too small. Honestly, there's so little space with my desk and the bed and this green screen. If I breathe too hard, the green screen will just fall over. Which, it's magic. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's not real magic. It's just technology. It's not real magic. Okay. Why don't we get into it? Because I think we've got a lot to talk about today. A lot of good stuff with our guest this week, Sake Blok. Longtime Sharkfest Wireshark expert. He's got a lot that we're going to talk about. He's got this escape room game that just blew my mind the first time I saw it. Happy to say that I was in the inaugural Sharkfest that it came, and my team won. I'm not saying it was me. This is the Sharkfest that you were limited to 2 beers, so I was going around trying to find extra beer. If you guys remember that one. So, without further ado, we're going to jump into it. Let's hope I press the right button and everything goes smoothly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Sake Blok.
Ta-da!
Hey, all right.
Aaron too. Yay!
I picked
Matching
a shirt.
shirts.
I picked a shirt at random in my, well, not totally at random. I mean, I have a stack that I haven't worn yet, as I've talked about on this. You know, I've been working my way through the shirts. I grabbed this one, next one. I popped this one off the stack. Wireshark 17. What you got? What you got? Look at that. Great
Ta-da!
minds. Great minds.
There will be debate whether we coordinate it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, the background music is still on. That's true, but it should be fairly soft. Is it too loud? Let me know in the chat. Okay, so here we are. We're going to talk about Wireshark and packets and TLS and things. So let's start as we do with our guests. How did you? Well, first question. I hear lots of people pronounce your name different ways. How do you pronounce your name?
It's actually Saka.
Saka.
Yeah.
A little flavor to it. Saka.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
sake.
So, but no, I listen to all kinds of variations because it's no use trying to. The fun part was I was sitting at your presentation. I think it was in the Europe one in Estoril, the first one, and you were doing your stuff, and I kind of did something, probably prepared the presentation or anything. And then I heard like Saka Blok in the speaker. Like, what? Is he talking about me? And then it turned out you were talking about the SAC block.
It must be my accent. Yeah, it sounds very similar.
So, yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Everyone, please take note. I mean, I'm sure I could ask the same question to a number of folks that we have on. So let's start. What does your career path look like to get to the point where you're, a packet head Wireshark guy?
Well, where do I start? Well,
back in 1933. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that old.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah,
my grandfather.
Yeah. No. My father is doing something different, but he's doing analysis too. So in a way, we are doing the same kind of job, looking at stuff, analyzing it, and then trying to draw conclusions. So that's nice. But for me, it started not in my first job, because then I was working at an ISP and I have never heard of packet analysis. So for me, it started when I was working for a large bank in Holland, and I needed to troubleshoot some issues, and they had Sniffer Pro and I think it was Sniffer or Cisco switch probes or something like that to analyze the token ring infrastructure that was still there. And I got fascinated by looking at the packets and really seeing what's going on the network.
Right.
And like everyone probably does. And then one day, this colleague of mine, looking at fresh meat, he saw ethereal, or ethereal, depends on how you pronounce it. Yeah, fresh meat. Like I'm that old. Yeah.
No, I get it. I know.
So he showed me ethereal, and I downloaded it and I installed it on my laptop, and wow, I was just blown away. Like, okay, I can look at the packets on my own laptop. So that was first. I was able to filter on all kinds of fields that you weren't able to filter on with Sniffer Pro, because you can only filter on specific data, specific offsets. So I was immediately taken like, this is going to help me a lot. So I was using that a lot on the problems that I needed to analyze. And then I left that bank and I went to work for a reseller. He sold the load balancers and firewalls to this bank, and so I was called in a lot for troubleshooting for this customer and also other banks and other customers in Holland. And while doing that, I was missing features. So yeah, what do you do?
What do you do? I mean, clearly you just go on Twitter and complain or whatever, or Usenet and complain, right?
Yeah, Twitter was not there yet.
Yes. I had to backtrack.
I joined the mailing list, of course.
I
think it was back in 2006. I joined the mailing list and started answering questions. I'm not sure if I ever asked questions, but I started answering questions. Got blown away by Guy Harris twice that my answer was not complete. So that really triggered me into, okay, whenever I'm answering a question, it needs to be Guy proof. So
that's a good rule. Hey, that's just a good rule for life, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Make your life Guy proof. That's yeah.
Yeah, Guy Harris is he's core developer, right?
Yeah, he's a core developer. Yeah. He's retired. He worked at Apple, and he's very meticulous. Whenever you ask a question, he first corrects your question and then starts answering the corrected version.
I love it. I love it.
So he twice he corrected my answer or completed it more or less. And I thought, okay, if this is the level of expertise in this group, I need to step up my game a bit. And I started really investigating whenever I was answering a question. I started investigating it properly. So whenever I did give an answer, it was complete and Kai wouldn't complain. So that helped me a lot, actually, because that's how I really turned into a troubleshooter and a researcher. Like, okay, what is really going on here? And you learn really a lot by answering somebody else's question that way.
Yeah, for sure. If you can explain it, then you know.
Yeah.
It.
Here's to you, buddy.
Plenty of times I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get something, and then I have to explain. I go, oh wait, no, I don't. So is that how you started tinkering with Wireshark itself, the code, or how did you get into that gig?
Yeah, well, as we were having lots of traffic over a load balancer where we have an X-forwarded for field on the back end, I needed to match sessions on the front end and the back end, and there wasn't a field X-forwarded for in the HTTP detector. So at first, I joined the mailing list. Why not ask for it? And then I thought, well, this is open source. How hard can it be? Let's see if I can find it out myself. So I downloaded the source code, created a Linux development machine, compiled my first Wireshark. It worked, yay! And then I started looking in the source code where can I find the code that does the HTTP dissector? So I browsed around the source code, found the HTTP dissector, looked at how it worked, or at least looked at how other fields were dissected, and then I discovered that there's like a kind of, I can't remember, it's like 13 years ago, but there was a certain pattern that I recognized. Okay, this is pretty easy. I just have to add a couple of lines of code, and it will do it for me. So I did that. It worked, and I sent it in, and then somebody complained like, okay, there's so many HTTP fields. Why do we need this one? Oh no, it's not gonna work. I said, well, because this is this. Oh, okay, I agree. And then it was added, and that gave like a very nice feeling because that's the first contribution to open source that I did.
Yeah. And, did you have a background in programming, or this was just on an as-needed basis, or? I
have a background in hobby programming, so I don't call myself a programmer. I'm a very intelligent copy and paster.
Yeah, that's me all the way.
Yeah. So yeah, I wrote that little piece of code, and then and another customer I encountered some multiple spanning tree packets of the pre-standards, or the Cisco standards. That was the pre-IEEE standard. I'm not sure if it's IEEE, but at least the standard came afterwards. And Wireshark didn't dissect that properly, or E3 at the time, I think it was still. So I wrote the dissector for that, edited, and then off I went, like, oh, I'm missing this. Oh, I'm running it. Oh, I'm missing this. Oh, I'm running it.
Right.
And and then the bad part was that I was using Wireshark or E3 on my Windows laptop, but I was developing on my Linux laptop. So whenever I built a feature, I couldn't use it on my laptop because it needed to be in the automated build section first. So I was really, back then we were having the system that you send in your patch through the mailing list, and then somebody needed to pick it up. Well, that took like a couple of days every time, and so I started remembering, like, hey, I sent in this patch, can you please edit? So probably they got annoyed by that and asked me to join the core team because they didn't want to be buggered with my whining anymore.
Oh, okay. So my next question was, well, how, there are hundreds of names of contributors to Wireshark. My name is in there. I'm proud to say I guess my only contribution to open source. But how do you go from that to core developer? It sounds like if you just annoy them enough, or what does that look like?
Well, I think I've seen other people being added over the years, of course, and it's mostly that somebody is in a certain time frame adding a lot of patches.
Yeah.
That are good quality-wise, that are helping the project further, and you see a certain momentum at that person in contributing, and it's nice to acknowledge that and invite them to the team. Like, hey, you're doing precious work for the team.
Yeah.
Let's do it in a little more inside version. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not allowed to talk about it, but the induction ceremony, were there robes, candles, or special T-shirt.
Can't talk about it.
No,
Definitely can't talk about it.
Yeah, understood. That's fair. Okay, so let's talk about, as I mentioned at the top in the intro, about the Pcap escape. I know it's got a very cool name. Pcap escape.
Speak
Speak. It reads better than it sounds.
It's just escape with an extra P.
Yeah. So, I assume people are familiar with escape rooms. I've only done it like once, but you're thrown into a room. Maybe you have an initial clue, but you just stumble around onto different clues. You don't know if you're doing it in the right order, but the point is to get to the end goal of escaping the room.
Mm-hmm.
What does this look like? How does it work? Is that similar?
Yeah, it's kind of, well, there's a couple of things that are similar. Of course, you're not escaping any room, so it's not really an escape room. But I see a tendency in the escape room world as well that there's lots of challenges that are called escape rooms or references to escape rooms that are just time-based challenges with puzzles. Yeah, I think that's the main characteristic of an escape game. And the fun part is that once a game is timed, there's a stress level that it's like a screen in front of your way to think. So that gives a certain feeling to a challenge. And like the first one that I built, I really put like a lot of effort in that one. I put a lot of effort in every one, but since it was the first one, I had to build the website for the scoring system also.
Right.
So there was a lot of work involved. And I was looking like, okay, how can I make challenges in a Pcap file? What can I do? And the first one was actually more escape room-like because I created like a chessboard with letters on it. So there was a picture that you need to download, and you need to combine it with data from ping packets. And there was the one that you liked the most, and actually I think that's still the most beautiful part of any of those is the text inside the Steam graph of Stevens.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, a Stevens graph is just graphing the bytes over time, or the sequence number over time, right? So it's normally we're looking at it as throughput. You want to see a line sloping up and to the right. If it dips, if it has gaps, we use it to troubleshoot throughput. But you managed to manipulate the sequence numbers in such a way that it spelled something out, I think.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah. The fun part is that normally it's like an increase and like a monotonously increasing line because the sequence number never drops, right?
Right. You had to have retransmissions to, I guess, to make that
make
a picture.
But since it's plotting sequence numbers across time, so plotting y values over x, you can use the timing and the sequence numbers to create like dots. Yeah, you can create dots anywhere in the picture.
It should be in a museum.
Yeah, maybe. Is there a Pcap museum already?
Well, if we ever have Sharkfest back at the one in Mountain View, the Computer History Museum, we'll print it out and tape it somewhere.
Yeah, Pcap museum. Yeah.
So
nobody will know what it is. Like, this is the date in a graph. What is the point of it?
So you're looking through, you're finding clues, you're given a Pcap. I think one of them was finding a VoIP stream and listening to the audio. That gave you another clue, and that unlocks the next step and the next step until ideally you unlock the last one in the time frame. I know no one in the first one made it all the way through in the time that we had. Since then, you've done it a few times. Has someone made it all the way through?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one we actually gave extra time, and then still people didn't finish. Like whenever I have these ideas, I get carried away. Like, oh, this is nice, and I can do this and this and this. And then since you're in the process, it feels that it's not that difficult. But if you look at it freshly from another point of view, that it is difficult. So I needed to adjust my enthusiasm into like, okay, don't make it too difficult.
Right.
Get some extra hints, and I'm not sure whether I did that for the first run, but I did like a test run with a company here in my neighborhood. They're a networking company, so they're pretty average on analyzing Pcap files. They're good at networking, but they don't analyze Pcap files that much. So I use them as a reference. Okay, if they can find it, then it's okay. And if they have problems with it, at least I know where to put hints in and stuff.
So I mean, we're talking about something that I guess very few people have had the opportunity to experience. Is this something you think? Because I think it's just fun. It's a good team building exercise. It's a good, event thing to have, but also just for training and getting better. People like puzzles. People like those kinds of things, and you have to use a lot of your analytical skills and things in Wireshark you might not have used before. Is it something you think it could, be done on a wider basis? I mean, I guess it would take a lot of work on your end, but
yeah, it's been on my mind to create like a Wireshark training program that uses these kind of challenges as study material.
Yeah.
Like,
I endorse that.
Up to now, it seems like too much to do, but
yes, we all know that. We all know that.
Yeah.
So
I think to get it probably, yeah.
Well, let's start to ease into encryption, TLS. Obviously we're going to talk about the class that you have coming up prior to Sharkfest. But how, you have obviously an interest. Is this just something that your career has taken you in the direction of, that you have to look at these kinds of problems a lot, or you just have a personal interest?
Yeah, I think it was one specific project here when I was working for this for the reseller. Is we had like the Dutch healthcare system. They wanted to have like a patient's dossier for everyone, and the way that was built is that they put like a central location. They put like a switchboard, and whenever one medical employee needs one doctor needs some information about this patient from another hospital, or then the request comes into the central point and goes forward to the information system in the hospital that has the information. So they were building this up, and it needed as a TLS or SSL, because TLS wasn't. I don't think TLS was there yet. They needed like SSL connections to secure all the traffic. And they asked our company to build a system because there was like 20,000 healthcare institutions that need to be addressed, and you don't want to administer 20,000 healthcare institutions. So you need to have a system that does that automatically, that you can get information from a certain healthcare information system without having to configure that. And we did it first with one type of one vendor, and then we ended up using F5 network equipment with a scripting language. And when I started the project, I knew nothing about SSL. The only thing I knew was like, hey, it encrypts stuff. I didn't know there was like authentication in it. I didn't know that there was CA involved. I knew nothing.
Right.
And in that project, I really went from A to Z, like how does TLS work or how does SSL work? And since we needed to tune into the nitty-gritty stuff of SSL, that taught me a lot about SSL. And like in 2009, Sharkfest 2009, the second Sharkfest, I presented on how to analyze SSL with Wireshark.
Right.
And that presentation has been referenced quite a bit because it was the first extensive online video of how SSL works and how to troubleshoot it with Wireshark.
Right. So I mean, things obviously have changed over the years. Then versus now, I know that you've been able to decrypt traces with a private key. You've been able to do it with session keys if you configure the browser. Are those things still relevant? Can we still use them? Or is the end of that being useful coming up and changes in encryption?
Well, the end of usefulness for using private keys to do decryption is coming up, because even with TLS 1.1 or 1.2, which you should be using 1.2 at the moment, or 1.3, but with TLS 1.2, you're still able to use RSA key exchanges, which mean that the keying material is encrypted with the public key from the certificate, which means you can decrypt it with the private key belonging to the certificate.
Right.
The problem is if you have a capture file of 10 years ago and you somehow find the private key of that the server was using at that time, you can still decrypt the traffic from 10 years ago. And that's something you want to prevent. That's what perfect forwarding secrecy comes in. And that's when you don't use the public key from the certificate to encrypt the key material, but you use a Diffie-Hellman key exchange. And that means that only one of the two endpoints is able to decrypt the traffic, because those have the key material to decipher the session keys. So in the future, if you want to do decryption, you need to have the session keys, because TLS 1.3 doesn't allow any RSA key exchange anymore. So whenever we move to 1.3, the RSA key exchanges are gone. No use in using private keys anymore.
Okay.
For decryption. So yeah, but as long as you get from either the server or the client, you get the session keys, then you're able to decrypt. But that's something that's a challenge for every vendor that needs to do decryption. It's a challenge for every web server to provide those keys. There will be challenges.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, what are you going to be covering in your class on TLS troubleshooting?
Well, I think there's two parts of troubleshooting TLS traffic. The first part is setting up a proper TLS channel, like making sure that you're connected, and especially like if you're going to a bank, you don't authenticate yourself, so it's just you authenticate the bank and that's it. And that pretty much always works, and people don't have problems with that. But as soon as you start to do mutual TLS, where you have to present the client certificate, people get confused, because you have like a certificate on one side, you have a certificate on the other side,
right.
Then you have like the trust store on one side, the trust store on the other side, and those are crossly connected. So yeah, people get confused.
Sure.
And and then you have like is the certificate still valid? Is it revoked or not? Is it are we using a compatible set of cipher suites? Are TLS versions compatible? All those kinds of things, they can prevent or make a connection go bad or not come to completed phase as well. And that's part one of what I'm going to teach in the class. Okay, how do you troubleshoot the connection setup? And the second part of the class will be, once you have a good connection, what if you need to analyze the application data inside the connection? So how do you decrypt the traffic, or what can you do in analysis of the traffic when it's not decrypted? Because you can see the packet sizes, you can see repeating patterns, and so there are some things you can do even when the traffic is still encrypted. But of course, it's much better if you can decrypt. So I'm going to teach how to do decrypt based on the private key, as it can still be useful. But most importantly, how to decrypt using session keys and how to get to those session keys in certain situations.
Yeah, and this is, and it's more and more things are encrypted. I mean, this knowledge and skill set becomes more and more relevant and valuable.
Yeah, and it's good that there's a tendency towards privacy. Like in TLS 1.3, the certificate that's being exchanged is in the encrypted phase of the connection, so you can't see the certificate anymore. So like in TLS 1.2 and earlier, you can see the certificate, so you know what certificate the site is using. Yeah. In TLS 1.3, it's in the encrypted phase already, so you can't see it. There's only one part that is not encrypted, and that's the client hello. And in TLS 1.3 by default, it's still it has an SNI, so a server name indication, which means it tells server, I'm trying to get to this site, please present me a certificate for this specific site.
Right.
And a lot of devices like next-gen firewalls can filter on that SNI field, whether a site is allowed or not. And now there's also work being done to encrypt even that field. So from a privacy standpoint, from a user standpoint, nobody will be able to see where you're going except for the site that you're going to, which is a good thing privacy-wise. But troubleshooting-wise and management for enterprises, it's not a challenge. That's a
challenge. Okay.
It's a challenge. Yeah. Okay.
Well, do we want to switch over and you show us some packets and talk about some of this or profiles or
Yeah,
you know
yeah, I
whatever
can
you
do
like?
that.
All right, I think we're already set up and good to go. I don't know, let's take a shot and see if this works.
I had some problems with
There we go.
showing my screen and not having my CPU overloaded, but I think I'm doing okay now.
Yeah, I think it looks all right.
So, all right. So what this actually is, well, of course, it's Wireshark for the people that don't recognize it, but this is the first part of the Pcap challenge from last year. I built it in two parts. One part you can already do during the conference, and the second part you needed to do at the actual event or the evening event. And the first part was something that was because there was a sponsor that had long-term capture devices and days, and they sponsored the Pcap challenge. So we made sure that there was something on their box, and so people needed to extract it from their box first, so they have a little bit of exposure that way. So this was the first part of the challenge. So you get a Pcap file, and the only thing that you know is you need to extract a QR code from this. So
Okay.
QR code is a two-dimensional barcode,
Right.
and that's somewhere hidden in this file. So the thing is, okay, once you have this file, how do you proceed to get that information out of this file? And I'm not sure this will work because the first steps that I always take when I'm doing Wireshark analysis is let me move this window out of the way. The first thing I always do is like look at the when was this capture taken, like looking at capture file properties. I'm not sure whether this shows on screen. Probably not. No, it doesn't show, I guess.
No, we just see the
Because
main window.
yeah, okay, well, I usually look at the statistics and capture file properties because there can be comments in the file. Not many people are using comments. I endorse people to use more
Oh, right,
comments,
right.
but and then you see them in the properties.
Where do
So that's
you
one of the things.
how do you know
Yeah.
or where do you put a comment? Like if I want to put a comment on a packet, where do you put that?
In the capture file properties, or you can like here on in the status bar, you have this
Oh, I
little
see. I see.
document with a
It's
pencil.
a comment for the file as a whole, not per packet.
Yeah, you can also add per packet comments,
Okay.
but they will also be shown in the capture file properties.
Mm.
I think there needs to be like I'm not sure if there's an enhancement request for that already, but there needs to be a pop-up. Well, people hate pop-ups. There needs to be some kind of message to the user that the file has comments, so the user will look at
Yeah,
the comments. But that
that makes sense. If only we knew a developer. Hmm.
yeah, maybe there's one in the chat. Not
Yeah,
sure.
let's check. All right.
No, yeah, I need to like I haven't developed much. Like I think I did like 2 or 3 patches in the last couple of years, so I need to do stuff myself again. But we moved to C++, we moved to Garrett, we moved to Qt instead of GTK. At least for the GUI codes, it's C++ now. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like a big yeah. I need
Right,
to
right.
spend some time
Big
and
changes.
hopefully I can do yeah. Hopefully I can do those things myself again and add those kinds of things. But okay, let's the second thing I would do if I get a capture file that I don't know what the contents are is look at the protocol hierarchy. And for this file, we'll show you that it has some DNS, some mail, and some TLS traffic. So that's interesting. And the other part that I look at is conversations, because then you see who is communicating with who and
Right.
what the protocols are. Well, I can't show you that because the screen share doesn't work that way. But since I know that there is email traffic, let's first start with the email traffic and see what's in there. So there was
So
traffic on the
you
SMTP
looked
port.
at the protocol hierarchy under statistics, and you saw there was email traffic. So you're gonna have a look at that.
Yeah, because I know email is unencrypted and the HTTP traffic was encrypted. So for
Yeah.
me, like, okay, I start with the unencrypted stuff and see what happens.
Right. Port 25
And
SMTP unencrypted. Okay.
yeah, exactly. And in the info column, actually, you see that I have a profile selected, my TCP profile. It shows like the three-way handshake. It shows it in green for the SYN packets, and I have the blue on the green for the SYNAC, and I have like grayed out packets for BearX, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't get distracted by them that much.
That's a
And
good. I think that's I don't know if I've seen people use that one too much, but I think that's good because there's so much data in the bare
Yeah,
axe. Many times, you know, if you're doing this long enough, you skip over them anyways, but this would help you at least on a visual basis kind of focus in on
it
things
hel-
that really matter.
yeah,
That's a good
it
tip.
helps me a lot. Yeah, and I have like the blue for fins and red for resets. So there's a couple of colors. I have like a couple of buttons, filter buttons that you can use. It's really interesting buttons. They can be really helpful. Like if I clear the screen or clear the filter, and I go back to the first packet, and this is the interest packet. Let's see what the whole stream is. I can just click on the button stream, and it will look at that stream for me
Yeah.
instead of doing follow TCP stream and
Right.
then clicking away the
There we
contents.
go.
Like,
Betty's
yeah,
filter. You know, it's funny. I was talking with someone recently on a Zoom and walking him through this, and I typed that in to show him how to do it and just to verify for myself, and it didn't work for me, but it worked for him. It was I didn't
Mhm.
know if it was a bug in mine or a bug in my head, but anyway, this is it's a
Well,
great button filter.
yeah. So actually, this when I'm talking about profiles, if you really want to know more about profiles, go to Betty's pre-conference class before Sharkfest, because he's doing a whole day class on creating a perfect profile or a
The
profile for
perfect
each.
profile. That's what you
Yeah,
get out of it, right, Betty? The perfect profile.
yeah, exactly. Well, the perfect profile for anybody, because my
Yeah.
perfect profile is not your perfect profile. That's the first lesson of
Yeah.
profiles. Create your own profiles. Um, and create profiles for different tasks. Like for this task, I'm not looking at all the sequence numbers and etc. So I'm gonna just skip to my default Symbit profile because that's a little less messy, and I can just use my keyboard shortcuts to. Oh, by the way, I've got the link is in the below the video. I've got the keyboard shortcuts sheets.
Oh
They're
yeah,
the
yeah.
cheat sheets for the I usually hand them out at Sharkfest, but since we have a virtual Sharkfest this year, I can't hand them out, which is a shame. But next year, probably, I will be handing out these again. But for now, you can just download it and print it out yourself if you want to. And they're all the keyboard shortcuts, and I'm trying to familiarize myself with using them because it can certainly make your troubleshooting more efficient. So,
Right.
okay, now let's go back to the TLS the mail traffic. So I click on one mail packet. And I have a button here again for the TCP stream equals TCP stream. And actually, I do want to do follow TCP stream here because I want to look at the content of this stream. Oh, again, this will not show on
It
your
might
screen.
not pop up.
No,
That
it will not pop up.
that's what you
Yeah,
get for using a Mac.
is that so? No,
I don't
it's
know.
because I selected like this particular window because during the test I selected the whole screen and that didn't work very well.
Oh,
So
right.
this is why I just do it like this. Well, in the stream you will see the mail packets. There's an attachment in it, so it's better to use like file export objects. You can just export the whole email file, IMF, Internet Mail format. I think it's abbreviation for. So whenever I do that, I get a pop-up. Again, you won't see it, and then I can save the email to my system. And if I open that email, it has a little bit of text, of course, the text of the email, and there's a PDF. And then I open the PDF, and it's password protected. Well, that's how these games
Oh,
work. Everything
yeah.
that you do, there's a password on the zip file, there's a password on the PDF, and you need to find the password. So,
Right. But just to recap that piece of it, you found the SMTP stream, you right click, follow TCP stream, so you can see what's in there on the data. And then you can go
yeah,
under file and you can export the objects that are in that
yeah.
SMTP stream. And one of those is an attachment, which is a PDF.
Well, actually,
Is that right?
you save the whole email, so you get
Okay.
a MIME-based email file, and you can open it in your email program,
Yeah.
and then you will see the PDF
Okay.
and
Okay.
some text. Yeah,
You save it as just the email file, open it in an email program. Okay. We're giving away all the secrets to escaping the room, but it's good tips.
Yeah, well, these are tips not only for these kind of like if
Yeah.
you're handling stuff and somebody's complaining like the mail's not working properly, you can use these tools as well.
Yep.
And that's what I like about creating these challenges is I want to not only create a fun experience, but I also want to because I do hints as well, and I walk around when the game is running, and whenever people are struggling, I give them tips on how to do stuff, on how to
Right.
use Wireshark. I don't give away clues for the game, but I teach them how to use Wireshark at the same time.
I heard though,
Um,
with enough beer, you were bribable. Is that true?
I can't comment on that. There's not enough beer.
All right, fair enough.
I'm drinking water.
All
Yeah,
right.
actually, it's like almost 8 o'clock in the evening here, so I was doubting should I have a beer
Yeah,
because
why
it's
not?
kind of beer time.
Go for it.
Yeah, but then like it's for you in the morning, and this video will be watched all on the all time zones, and later it will be watched at different times, and
Yeah,
maybe it's not so nice to drink beer while doing a presentation.
it's all right.
So I'm getting a beer afterwards.
All right, fair enough.
So so this is the first part that you okay you extract the PDF so now you know you need the password. So where can I find the password? Well, there's the TLS traffic. So let's see if
Oh,
so maybe if I do TLS, there's a very simple TLS conversation, and actually I usually don't have name resolution on, but for by accident I do have name resolution on. So you see that this is something that goes to www.passwordrandom.com, and that's a
oh,
site that creates random passwords. So hey, I need a password. There's a site that creates passwords. Maybe those are connected, maybe not. Who
yep.
knows? But the problem is the data is encrypted. How can I view what password was generated by this site? I can't based on this traffic. But maybe something is hinting like where can I find uh, the password. So there was like if you look at the TCP streams, I can do like TCP stream equals 0. Well, actually, if I start with 2, I go backwards. This was the email. 1 was the TLS traffic, and 0 is something else on port 1337. Well, people that are in the security business, they are immediately triggered by 1337. Not sure if you are, but
Is that
1337.
leet?
Yeah, that's lead, and that's
Yeah.
usually it's a backdoor. It's a backdoor to a
Okay.
system. And if you look at the IP address 172.666, that's a little fun for my part. It's like an evil system. So this probably does something evil. And let's and TCP.length greater than 0. Let's look at only the data packets. And if I go through them, normally I would show like the follow TCP stream, but
You
since I
have
will
been
show,
hacksorted.
yeah, even hexort, ls-1, instruction PDF message that you've been hacked. Yeah, SSO keylog file is keys.log. Hey, there's something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you're triggered. Like SSO keylog file is the file that Firefox and Chrome uses to store session keys,
Yeah.
TLS session keys. And like we discussed earlier, TCP session TLS session keys are the ones that you need to do decryption. Hey, since we went to a password generating site with TLS, maybe the session key for this session is saved in this file somewhere.
Right.
So if you look at the rest of the command, it's a curl command, and curl has been like if you compile curl yourself, I don't think the standard version does it already, but if you compile curl yourself with the SSL OpenSSL library and you enable the SSL keylog file feature, then it will look at the SSL keylog file environment variable and store all the session keys in this file.
Mm.
So based on this, what you can see is it's retrieving a password from the site and it puts that into the file password.
Right.
Okay. So again, that's the echo, and well, there's a lot of things happening. And
So now we're like a couple layers deep, right? We got a PDF which is password protected. We went and found some activity that maybe is password related. We go to that. It's there's SSL. Now we need a session key. So we're we keep pushing tasks onto the stack that we're going to have to then pop off later. So
Exactly.
now we're chasing SSL keys, right? That we're
yeah
yeah.
exactly. And well, if you look at the I can try to no let's not do that, because then we'll probably end up hitting each other. If you look at the follow TCP stream, you see all the commands that were given, and one of the commands was to UU encode, or to base 64 encode the session key from the session key log file, and put it in an email header. Like you have in the email text, you have like a headers like the subject, the date, the recipient. Right. And there's also the possibility to add extra headers, and there's an X minus secure something header that I created. Okay. So now you need to go back to the email. So let's do TCP contains, and I think it was like secret. This is like case sensitive, so I need to.
So TCP contains, what is that searching? The TCP payload?
It will search. Yeah, actually, I think it will search the whole TCP protocol, including the header.
Including the header. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was secret. I think it was secure. No. Okay, then that's maybe contains X minus. That should work. Yeah. So let's see. That is in the here in the email. You see that there's here X min secure. Oh, there's see as well.
Yeah.
And there's the base 64 encoded. If you look at the lead session, the reverse shell, you can see that this is actually should be the base 64 encoded entry for the TLS session key. So you can now use, like if I go to, I'm not sure whether you will see right-click information, probably not. No, I don't think so. If you right-click on this field, you can do show packet bytes, and then in that window of show packet bytes, you can select the part that's base 64 encoded. You can decode it with to normal text, and then you will see the session key. If you save that to a file, and let me just do that. Let me show packet bytes. You're not seeing this, but I'm just gonna extract.
So you're extracting those bytes.
That
is that header to a file on your machine.
Yeah, I'm gonna extract it to a file. So save as. Let me see. Where's my window? There it is. And I'll do here TLS.key. Save. Close. And now when I go back to TLS. TLS. And now I'm gonna put in the protocol preferences, which you probably don't see. Next time we need to do this differently, because this
Fair enough. Well, so what you're doing, what you found there was a key. We followed this trail. We're trying now. We're trying to go back and decrypt the password to the PDF.
Exactly.
We followed this trail.
Well, actually, we don't know if it's a password to the PDF. But at least
we don't know.
We're going to decrypt the TLS traffic, and as you can see, I added the key, and now you can see that there's a HTTP query on top of or below the TLS. So the decryption worked, and if I look at the response, then I will see that here is some random string, which is probably the password that was created by this website.
Right.
And actually, it is true. This is the password to the PDF file. So, so the fun part for me is like you create several elements in the Pcap file, and people need to find the relationship between those elements, combine them, and then they find something. And if you put this into the PDF file, you get a QR code, and the QR code gives you access to the second level of the game.
Right. I mean, this is excellent. This touches sort of everything about, right? I mean, we're talking, you have to understand what's happening in the packets. You need to understand protocols. You need to understand how to find things. If you're doing security or malware, this is great practice for that. I've never done a CTF, but is this sort of in the spirit of a CTF type
Not
competition
not
or something?
really.
No.
No, not really. Like I've done a couple of CTFs. Well, I tried a couple of CTFs because I'm not a security. I like security, information security things, but I'm not good at it, and I'm not. Yeah, it's not my expertise. But I tried a couple of CTFs, and
Yeah.
usually there is one or two challenges with the Pcap file.
Right.
Um, and those I can solve every time because the level of expertise needed for those challenges is usually not that much. It's usually find some base 64 encoded data and then just base 64 decoded, and then you have the flag. So it's
Yeah.
not really
Right. Well,
interesting.
this is centered around PCAPs. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And usually the CTFs on a security event are reverse engineering,
Yeah, yeah.
some cryptology, some web traffic that you need to hack into either by, I don't know, by SQL injection or well,
Fair enough.
all the normal escape or the yeah.
Okay.
So
Was there
so
something else you want to show us here? We'll kind of spend a few more minutes here, and then we'll maybe switch over to some
well,
Q&A
I
or
can,
something.
I can, I can load up. Well, no, I can't load up because I need to. No, I can't. Yeah, I can load up the file that has the password in the Stevens graph,
Oh
but I
yeah. Well,
can't show it.
maybe you can do it later and take a screenshot and put it on Twitter, so
Okay, I
people
can.
can
Yeah,
see that work
yeah.
of art.
What I can show is how the packets are being built up. Like you can see that the delta times are very strict, like 4 milliseconds
Yeah.
for every packet, and there's I think actually some packets have the same timestamp, and then when you browse downwards, you you will see like a whole block that has retransmission because now I'm putting the sequence number back to something that was already there, and I see the timestamps are all the same. So I'm putting different packets on the same timestamp, so they will be stacked up in the stream graph, and that's how
Yeah.
this graph was created.
Right. I mean, yeah, this makes sense. You would use Steven's graph since we already established you were old.
Yeah.
There's a joke for Hansong, as he said. No regrets on making that comment back in the day, but I just want to point out that the point is Stevens graph versus TCP trace. The same thing applies to the profiles, right? When you're starting
Well,
out, it's for the use case, right? It's the use case, what you're trying to accomplish. More data is not always better.
no, of course, and yeah, I only use the TCP trace stream graph. I don't use the Stevens one.
Right. Same
But
here. Same here.
Stephen is the one that first thought of, okay, let's plot the sequence numbers across time and have an idea of what the TCP session is doing. And then TCP trace extended on that and added some more data into the graph, which makes analysis a lot easier. So,
Right.
yeah.
And then there's
And
one.
actually,
Go ahead.
yeah. Actually, in the current version of Wireshark, if you use the Stevens one, it's been changed. There's more information in it now, and so the graph doesn't show up as nicely as it does in the TCP trace one. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I will post a tweet reference the
Okay.
video and
That would be
yeah.
very cool. And there's one above. It's not in Wireshark. It's a separate tool. I think it's paid for. I don't remember what it's called. So I'm sure someone knows what it is in the chat, or maybe you know. I think maybe just one person wrote it, but it's TCP trace on super duper steroids. I'm sure it has. I've never used it, but I've seen videos. I've seen some screenshots of it. I'm sure it has an incredible learning curve. But if
Yeah,
anyone knows,
you mean is it net data?
that sounds right. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think it's called net data. It's a guy from Australia that made it, and but it's a commercial product. It's pretty
Yeah, I
expensive.
think. Yeah, is it okay?
And
Yep. I've just seen the.
it's subscription based because I look
Okay.
at it because I think it can do a lot, but for my one man shop because I have my own troubleshooting company. It's a one man shop. I'm not able to buy that
Okay.
license.
Okay.
So yeah.
Fair enough. No, I've like I said, as a fan of that tool, I mean that if anyone has watched any of my performance videos, I mean, like third step is to go to TCP trace and to use it. And so I saw a video where a guy had used it to solve a problem. I was just like blown away at the amount of information in there. But anyway, okay, so let's
yeah, I think we're done with Wireshark.
yeah, I
for now.
mean, so folks, there is, Philip's story. Hi, Philip. He says there is a free version that he can provide. Maybe we need to get Philip on here to give us a walkthrough of net data.
Yeah.
If there's a free version, that would be cool. Philip, I don't know if I have if we're on Twitter or anything, but if you want to send me an email, carrie@pacabomb.com, that would be great. Let's go back to... all right, folks. So we've got... I hope you enjoyed hearing about the Pcap thing, and it covers the full range of skills. It's really fun, and I don't know if obviously we probably won't be doing anything like that at Sharkfest this year, but there's always the future, and maybe at some point there'll be some sort of way to get that from you and work with you on that, as a training tool. If you have some training opportunities in the future, I think that would be a fantastic portion.
Actually, I've used it in some trainings that I gave. That at the end of the second day, I gave them the challenge from 2018, and they people like it to do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
Actually, for the virtual Sharkfest, I'm setting up a CTF.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm exploring the CTF platform. Because we want to combine like the individual packet challenges with the group challenge, more or less. So we're going to have challenges in a CTF kind of format, right, that people can do during the event, and then there will be prizes, more or less.
Prizes.
Yeah.
Win
prizes.
Fun prizes. Okay. Well, guys, please, if you have questions for Saka, please put it in the chat. I've got one to kick off with. This was a question that came up. I was talking to someone. If I'm looking for a particular protocol, and I know Wireshark supports it, but I've got a big Pcap, I'm not sure, how to find it. Maybe I don't even know the port name or whatever it is. What I'm trying to understand is I know a dissector will tell Wireshark, here's my display filter string. So TLS is TLS, right? That one's easy. Mm-hmm. Some of them aren't intuitive, or the protocol name is 3 words long. Is there a place you can go or a place you can look to determine what the display filter is for each dissector?
This almost sounds like a task for the A-team, right? Is there a place you can go?
I poked around. I looked in a couple of places in the preferences. I didn't see it.
Actually, I watched your video that you did Wednesday. I watched it this morning, and you asked that question in that video. Right. So I put it on Discord. I gave you an answer already.
Oh, you did? I missed it.
Yeah. Yeah, the answer is you can do with T-Shark, you can do T-Shark minus capital G and then protocol, and then it will show you all the protocols with all the names, and you can grab on it, or you can put it in whatever.
Okay, T-Shark. There you go, folks. T-Shark is well worth everyone's time to learn the basics of. It's a very powerful tool. You can do a lot of very cool stuff with T-Shark. I think you've done some command line stuff at Sharkfest in the past.
Yeah, so it was my first Sharkfest presentation, was on command line stuff, and I repeated that over the years. Like I changed the format a little bit, but it's been there are several presentations and videos of me doing that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so and if people want to see more of your content like that, the retrospectives, right? Go to Sharkfest website, go to the retrospectives, look for you. In the last few years, they've been really good about putting videos of everyone. I think you back up 3 or 4 years, the video availability is hit and miss. But or just go to I assume they're all on YouTube, right? If you go to the Sharkfest YouTube channel, search your name on the channel, they'll find
probably
everything. They'll find every video that Sharkfest has of you. And of course, don't miss. Are we doing a live doctors? We have the technology. Should we do the doctors are in for the Sharkfest this year?
Yeah,
virtually.
I like those sessions the best when I'm at Sharkfest. It's for the people that don't know it. It's putting packet heads like myself and Jasper and Christian and Chris and Hansan on stage, and then giving giving the audience the opportunity to drop a Pcap file on them and just look at them freshly. And what we usually do at Sharkfest is we don't tape it because there can be sensitive information, and so people need to make sure that the audience is able to see it, but it's not like on internet. This time, of course, it's virtual and sessions will be recorded. And people can record the session themselves. We can't use any Pcap files from customers.
Yeah.
So we're discussing how to do that, but the thing that I suggested or that we discussed already was, why not create Pcap files or anonymized Pcap files in such a way that there's nothing pointing back to a customer, and then one guy gives the other one, or one person gives the other person a Pcap file. Okay, this is new to you. Go. Let's see what
right.
you.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
What everybody needs is how do I start? Where do I start when I get a new Pcap file? And whenever you see a Sharkfest presentation on how to analyze something, the analyst has looked at it for like 1,000 hours before, and then with the top of the iceberg, like, hey, this is what I found.
Right.
This is how I found it.
Right.
But it's not the actual process of how to come to that conclusion.
That's a very good point. I mean, I think we all talk about how it's like a cooking show where we walk you through the recipe, but at the end of it, we just bring the casserole out of the oven and show it to you. But this is an opportunity to really see what that process looks like when you're looking at something fresh for the first time. And you chase red herrings, dead ends. You talk about your process.
Still there.
So it's a So I mean, Jasper has confirmed that we're going to do it. I mean, you guys, please bring me in. I'm happy, to help either host as the live or to do the hosting on the virtual side, because I can have multiple people in here right now and we can easily share screens back and forth. Anyway, bring me in if you guys want to talk about how to pull off
we will
that part of it.
Yeah.
Find the chart Carrie mentioned on Twitter. Oh, so we may already have so Phil Story's got the chart on Twitter. All right, and spoiler alert, next guest coming up very soon is going to be our good friend Jasper, coming soon to you on a live stream. So anything else? We're moving to GitLab on Sunday, everyone, so just be aware. How does that affect the so wiki and bugs will be in a different location. I did see some chatter on the mailing list about sorting out some wiki things. There's a very important question in the chat from Simon. I'm not sure if you can see the chat. I'll let you read it.
I don't see a question from Simon. It's probably way back.
Okay, no, it just hit. It says, when was the last time you ass-bombed a jacuzzi full of people? Simon asking the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, okay. Well, I know one person that's not amused by that question.
All right. So I understand you guys have a barbecue coming up. Must be nice to get together with your friends. I don't know what that's like. Please enjoy your.
If all the regulations don't, like in Holland, we have an increase in cases of COVID. So there's. I hope I can still go to Germany, and like it's in 3 weeks' time or so. So
you're in the Netherlands, Haarlem, right next to Amsterdam. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Very cool. One of my favorite cities to visit for sure. There, beautiful. All right, so folks, there are links in the description below this video. Probably. I mean, again, I've only used this is the first time using this dashboard, and everything's different about it. It'll go better next time. But links to Saki and his stuff are there in the description. Sign up for his Wireshark course on TLS. That's, as we've discussed, an important thing to know about going forward. And I believe if you're in a class, then you're guaranteed attendance to the currently full waitlist only Sharkfest conference.
That's true. Yeah. So, it's an extra bonus. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your expertise and knowledge with everyone. It's very much appreciated. We'll wrap this up. I'll hop in the chat and see if there's anything we missed, and we'll see everybody next time. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Carrie.
All right.
See you next time.